Chicos, chicas, ¿cómo están? ¿Qué os cuenta la vida? Aquí Vampire con un nuevo video para el canal. Esta vez estamos en otro episodio más de Genshin Impact. Y bueno, si en el episodio anterior hemos estado justamente atrapados acá en la ciudad de Sumeru, pero ya hemos justamente resuelto todo el acertijo. Todo era un sueño de Nilo que habían impuesto los de la academia para que así todos celebren el festival de Sapserus. Ahora sí me acordé del nombre. De manera eterna, entre comillas, porque en realidad no es que estaban gobernando así de manera eterna. Lo que pasa es que al parecer como era un sueño, el sueño se repetía una y otra vez porque al parecer mediante la calle, los de la academia tienen control total sobre lo que sueña la gente de Sumeru. Que entre comillas no tienen por qué hacerlo porque ellos mismos dicen de que Sumeru no sueña, pero en realidad todo es una estafa, todo es una estafa para que tener a esta gente bien protegidas a la palma de su mano, o sea, que estén manipuladas, ustedes saben, cosas políticas y demás. Y lo que vamos a hacer ahorita es justamente hablar con la cátedra de Sumeru porque hay alguna cosa que decía acerca de reclutamiento, cosas así. Algo está pasando, así que vamos a hablar con ella primero. Ahí está, esas aves que tienen su código Morse todo chido.
We meet again, you two.
Sí.
Hi, Catherine. Do you have any commissions for us today?
Commissions, huh?
Yo ya los hice todos, vale, digo ahí que tengo que recuperarme después de, vamos, los 2 días de protogemas que me he perdido.
Oh, how about this? Please attend the Academia's Academic Symposium this afternoon and recite a love poem on stage.
Nos estás mandando a la muerte, ¿verdad? Porque la academia no acepta cualquier clase de expresión artística.
Wait, say what now?
And if possible, please also use your camera to capture the reaction of the audience upon finishing the poem.
Nahida, nos estás tratando de meter una broma, ¿verdad? Porque sí, Nahida mediante la calle puede poseer otras personas, pero la persona que más posee es Catherine, que en realidad es una suerte de cyborg.
Huh? What kind of commission is that?
La reacción del público debería ser intensa.
I see. It appears that you're not interested in this commission.
No shit, Sherlock, ¿qué te hizo pensar eso?
In that case, please go to Port Armos and convince the Eremites there to spend some time volunteering at the local orphanage.
Mientras esos eremitas no se llamen Alexander Technology, creo que podré hacer eso.
Hey, that's not any better.
Los mercenarios y los orfanatos no van de la mano. Tiene un punto, tiene un punto.
I'm sure the mercenaries will have some interesting reactions as well.
Paimon's gotta ask. Just who exactly has been submitting these commissions to the Adventurers Guild?
Oh, the commissioner? Well, actually, I just wanted to see the two of you in action.
Eres Nahida, ¿cierto?
Was it so obvious? I was hoping you would actually take one of those commissions. That kind of chance to observe humans doesn't come by often. Ah, so it's Nahida. Paimon just knew Catherine wouldn't crack those kinds of jokes. When did you get into her head? From when she said, Ad Astra Abyssosque? So it's been you this whole time? Are you done resting up, Nahida? Yes. I've been sleeping ever since we parted ways, and I even had a really long dream.
Recuerden, el Akasha le quita los sueños a las personas, pero al parecer no puede robarle los sueños a los dioses.
It was another dream about the Sabzerus festival, except it was a happy one. In my dream, I was sitting in the middle of a flower terrace, and everyone in Sumeru City was holding hands as they danced in circles around me. I also got to sit on a gigantic flower carriage. Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, raised me really high above the ground, and I was throwing an endless amount of Yalda candies at the children. You know, Nahida, maybe your dream is how the Sabzerus festival really should be. It's meant to be a joyous time where everyone gets together to celebrate your birthday.
Sí, como el carnaval de Arequipa. No, espera, el de Puno es mejor. Como sea, pero en realidad esto...
Huh? Wasn't I describing a really happy dream? Why are you both looking at me like that? Wait, could this be an example of the emotion known as pity?
No, es que simplemente estoy un poco confundido con el guión, nada más.
No, we aren't pitying you. That would only make everything worse. We just don't want you to feel too sad. By the way, have you had a chance to visit Dunyarzad? How's she doing? The Homianis haven't allowed any visitors after the festival, so we haven't been able to check on her. Yes, I paid her a visit right after I woke up. She was resting at the time. Her
Siguen
condition
su
is
lecho de muerte.
stabilized.
Excelente.
However, since Elazar is a manifestation of the withering on the human body, we can only cure it by finding a way to take care of Irminsul's own withering.
Recordemos, Colei también tiene esa enfermedad. Protect Best Girl, aparentemente.
But for the moment, our top focus should still be figuring out what the sages are up to and what they're planning.
Protect Manga Girl. Prefiero eso.
Right. Who knows what'll happen if they manage to pull off another scheme like the Samsara of the Sub-Zero's festival?
So our first priority should be investigating and putting a stop to the sages' activities. As for how we should pull that off, let's discuss it somewhere else. There are too many adventurers around here.
Sí, pueden decirle algo a los sabios a la primera.
Oh, good point. Sorry, adventurers. We're gonna be borrowing Catherine for a little while.
Solo un rato, no se preocupen. Va a regresar acá en 0,5 segundos. Eso espero, al menos. Nada malo le va a suceder, estoy seguro de eso. Continúa la conversación de Nahida en otro lugar. A unos 15 metros aquí. ¡Huepa! Vale, pensé que iba a ir de manera directa, pero no importa, ahora sí. ¡Hue!
Let's continue our chat here.
Okay, so do you have any ideas on how we can investigate the sages, Nahida?
Actually, I've already done a little bit of work on that. But for now, I want to hear your thoughts.
Muy bien. Hay 3 preguntas. Empecemos con la primera. ¿Quieres poseer directamente una figura clave de la academia?
I've already tried that. But all the key members of the academia, even the core 30 guards, intentionally avoid wearing their Akasha terminals.
Vale, encima tienen un equipo de seguridad llamado Regimiento de los 30. Muy militar ese nombre.
It seems that from the very beginning, they've been guarding against info leaks from the Akasha. Of course, it could also be because they're wary of me.
Have you already caught the sages' attention?
I'm guessing not yet, but distrusting me would make perfect sense if they've ever paid attention to the urban legends about me. In any case, I probably can't take over their minds directly.
Por ende es que eso recurre a nosotros, porque ella no puede hacerlo de manera directa. Necesita un intermediario. ¿Vas a poseer un estudiante y colarte en las oficinas de los sabios o es que no se puede porque hay algunos estudiantes baneados? Tal vez, creo que es mejor exponer lo segundo. Sí, creo que mejor exponer lo segundo. ¿Qué tal si tomamos a alguien cercano, un sabio, y lo interrogamos?
We're in the dark as of now. Since we still don't know anything about their goals, any rash move could tip them off and lead to terrible consequences.
Nahida, tengo plot armor. Creo que eso vale callampa.
After all, every person in Sumeru City is one of their hostages.
¿Verdad? Tiene secuestrada a toda la comuna. ¿Vas a poseer un estudiante y colarte en las oficinas de los sabios entonces?
No way, that's too risky.
You mean it'd be too easy to get caught?
No, it's not that. We shouldn't involve innocent students in this. A single mistake could completely ruin their lives.
Nahida, hablando como estudiante universitario que soy, tu vida ya está arruinada el instante en el que tú pones un pie en la universidad.
Doing that would be ignoring the safety of my people for my own selfish goals. How is that any different from what the sages are doing?
That's a good point. Spoken like the god of Sumeru.
No se me ocurre nada más.
Are we really out of ideas?
¿Podemos hacer un ataque terrorista? ¿Digo qué?
Nahida, you're super smart, so you already have something in mind, right? Don't keep us in suspense. Spill the...
According to a popular theory from the Vahumana Darshan of the academia, rejecting impractical motions at the beginning of a planning session will give more weight to the actual proposal.
Etiología, ¿qué mierda es eso? Estudio sobre las causas de las cosas. Vale. O sea, algo filosófico.
Okay, but aren't you the god of wisdom? You don't have to use that kind of gimmick to make us take your ideas seriously.
Well, I've been thinking that if I can't directly possess the leaders, and if I can't get ordinary people involved, then I should find someone who's already involved, but hasn't decided to side with the sages.
Al-Haytham.
You're saying we should recruit a spy? That does sound like it could work.
Al-Haytham mostró dura al final de lo que fue la primera parte de esta misión, así que él puede ser el sujeto para nosotros.
Oh, before coming back, we someone named
Exacto.
Wisdom. He seems like he acts alone, and he likes doing stuff behind the Academia's back. They probably aren't in cahoots.
Actually, I already have someone in mind. Do you still remember that female scholar named Secretaria?
No me suena para nada.
Secretaria. Paimon remembers now. Isn't she the one who's always trailing behind the Grand Sage of the Academia?
¿Ella? Ah, chuta, entonces sí, creo que ella puede ser más útil que Kazen.
We ran into her
Y eso no tiene nada de
basically
malo.
every time the Sub-Zero's festival repeated itself. You could even say we're old enemies by now. Paimon still remembers the smug and mean way she always spoke to Nilu.
Mm-hmm. I've always liked observing all kinds of people, and Secretaria has always stood out from the crowd. She was born in the desert and was hailed as their greatest genius. Her academic gifts allowed her special admission into the academia, and also gave her the opportunity to serve as the sage's assistant.
Oh, Paimon didn't know she was from the desert. She must be pretty special then. Paimon feels like most of the desert dwellers around the city are working as mercenaries.
Un genio que literalmente no tuvo que... ¿Cómo era la canción? Ya me olvidé un poco la letra. Ya me olvidé la letra. ¿Cómo era? Un genio que no murió sin saber de su magia concebida mucho tiempo antes de nacer.
The name Secretaria means star. When she lived in the desert, she shone like the brightest star in the night sky. Later on, she was chosen by the sun. The star was given a place in the daytime sky to complement the sun's dazzling light.
Básicamente me estás contando las leyendas de Tatooine.
Soon after, the star witnessed the sun scorching the earth, which brought forth many disasters. The star began to waver. Instead of staying beside such a sun, wouldn't it be better to return and light up part of the night sky?
O derrocar al sol, causando una supernova y matando a un montón de gente en el proceso.
But in the end, she couldn't give up the radiance of daytime. To cope with her shame, the star buried her guilt and closed her eyes.
Es lo que realmente piensas de Secretaria, ¿verdad?
From the sound of it, Secretaria's just hung up on the research opportunities here. But she doesn't really support the academia.
No.
She still feels guilty about not doing more for the desert, right? She's just running away from her problems.
Indeed. When they are presented with complex moral issues, many people will simply plug their ears and go with the flow until the problem can't be fixed anymore.
A ver, como si no tuviésemos otra opción, ¿verdad?
She's suppressing a lot of guilt, but before she realized it, she had already become the sage's accomplice. She can't deny her part in their schemes anymore.
Es la candidata ideal.
Right. We must somehow make her face her problems again. That way, not only can we get useful intel from her, but she can also use it as an opportunity to redeem herself. From my past observations, Secretaria will take a day off from the academia every 10 days to do some shopping in the city. Tomorrow afternoon just happens to be a shopping day for her. That'll be our chance. To prepare, let's go check out some of her favorite spots, and have a quick chat with a few of the vendors there.
Vale, así que tenemos un plan. Tenemos que reunir información sobre unas instrucciones de Nahida, que es simplemente buscar el día de compras, que está justamente por acá el mercado, por lo que parece. Parece que sí. Está más lejos, por allá. No, está allí. Creo. No, está por acá. Ahí está la divina Nahida. Y hay un gato negro a su costado. Gatete.
This should be Secretaria's favorite fortune-telling spot.
So should we ask the fortune teller about Secretaria?
No, I already have enough information on Secretaria. The most important thing now is for you to pay attention to the vendor's talking style and key characteristics.
Vamos a hacernos pasar por adivina, ¿verdad?
Talking style and key characteristics?
My poor lost lambs. Have you become troubled over your fates? The divine voice of wisdom often echoes between mine ears. If thou be blessed today by the gods, I may be able to show you the way.
Huh? Really? Nahida, you've been whispering things to her?
Shh!
My friend here has some doubts regarding his future. Can we get a fortune reading for him?
Sí.
Of course, of course. In that case...
Su voz es bastante similar a la de Diona. Bueno, tiene sentido porque tiene dos gatos, uno blanco y uno negro, y Diona es medio gatuna también.
It would seem that Harut and Marut are quite wary of you. Perhaps, at some time in the past, you have somehow offended the gods.
Por supuesto, el día de mi nacimiento.
Only mocking the god of Animo, questioning the lord of Geo's financial savviness, and brawling with the god of Electro. Do those count?
Creo que sí.
Oh, nothing. Go on, pick an aspect for her to divine.
Un tema para adivinar. Ya, quiero saber sobre mi salud.
Health prospects. No problem at all.
Así, sin pensarlo. La salud primero, porque si no estás vivo, no puedes tener placa. Lógica
The
simple.
gods have spoken. The truth shall be revealed. Your life shall continue on for many tens of thousands of years. Impossible. Harut, Marut, did you two spoil my divination? I've never read a fortune so absurd.
Es que los gatos entienden, pero como que no saben cómo disimular. Hay un problema. Nuestras lecturas dicen de que es 1000 años. ¿Qué hacemos? ¿Le decimos una u otra cosa porque esta información parece sacada de los pelos? Algo así estaban diciendo. Pochitos.
Actually, Paimon thinks this is probably the most accurate fortune telling you've ever done.
I admit that the orientation of today's celestial matrix is suboptimal. As such, there will be no charge.
Is that so? Well, that can't be helped.
If you were to bring some food offerings for Harut and Marut on your next visit, perhaps they could help you reverse the wheels of fate.
Eso, o simplemente harán lo que ellos se les dé la gana con el destino. Que vamos, los gatos son recontra independientes y les vale verga lo que le pasa a los humanos. Los dueños de gatos sabrán a lo que me refiero. Reúne más información. A ver, primero está el tema de la adivinación. Ahora tenemos que hablar con el vendedor ambulante. Akim. Tiene nombre de youtuber.
Is this another one of Sataria's favorite stalls?
Creo que Akim era... Corríjame si me equivoco. Creo que Akim era uno de los amigos de Dead, que también practicaba béisbol. Y que tuvo un tiempo en el que se dedicó más a YouTube que a béisbol para ver cómo es que le iba. Y creo que al final tomó una decisión, pero no me acuerdo cuál de las dos cosas se terminó decidiendo.
Yep, it belongs to a king.
Aparte decían de que era
His
un
father
chino.
helped Sataria a
Bien
lot
chino,
when she
weón.
first moved to Samari City, so she still comes by whenever she has time. When I start talking with him, listen carefully to the details of our conversation.
Ya, igual que el anterior.
Ah, dear customers. Would you like to look at some pottery?
Ya. Ya de por sí me recuerda bastante al comerciante de Luigi que para estafando a la gente con sus piedras y demás.
We caught wind of your great craftsmanship, so we specifically came to take a look.
Oh, I recognize you. Aren't you Miss Catherine from the Adventurers Guild? Sounds like I'm in for some big business.
Speaking of, where did you learn this trade?
I suppose you could say it all started with my dad. He's a mason by trade, but I picked up an interest in clay while apprenticing for him. After that, I began making pottery by myself in secret. And I simply changed trades when my works turned out well. Although it's a pity that I'm no longer making much use of the knowledge provided to me by the Akasha.
Sí, he notado, parece que no tiene. Aparte, tu puesto no tendría que estar ilegalizado, porque al fin y al cabo la artesanía es una expresión artística. Claro, también es una expresión cultural, eso lo tengo entendido. Pero también cae también en el apartado de arte, y como dije antes, acá en Sumeru se le banea el arte.
That's nice. You're making a living doing something you love.
Sí, es lo importante.
So is your father still working as a mason?
Oh no, not anymore. A few years back, he fell from a roof and broke his leg. Since he had already saved enough mora over all
No,
these
ahí tiene
years,
su
he's
Akasha.
just enjoying the
Estaba
retired life in
equivocando, era el
Port
ángulo.
Almost nowadays.
I see. We wish him peace and happiness in his retirement. I'll have someone in charge of logistics at the guild come by another day for some goods. We'll leave you to it. Take care now.
No problem. Rest easy, all our goods are sure to meet your every need.
Muy bien, muy bien. Como un héroe triunfante me coloca. Creo que ha cambiado el título otra vez. Y ahora nos manda a hablar con la camarera de este
This should be
restaurante.
our final stop. Secretaria is always thinking of this restaurant when she's working at the academia. So she always comes by whenever she's out in the city.
Tiene un bonito diseño. El restaurante.
Nahida, you've really thought of everything.
It's my duty to protect Sumeru's citizens, after all.
Aparte tiene la casa. La casa tiene información de la rutina de la secretaria. Así que eso hace el trabajo mucho más sencillo.
Hi there. I feel like I've seen you down by the docks before.
Huh? Sorry, I don't quite remember.
If I recall, you were having a discussion with someone about shipbuilding at the time.
Ah, that's right. I've always been really interested in feats of marine engineering.
A mí también, pero no tanto en comparación a otras clases de ingeniería. De hecho, cualquier clase de ingeniería relacionada a medios de transporte como que no me llama mucho la atención, pues le estoy honesto.
After all,
Más estoy
I grew up
enfocado
in
en lo
Liyue
que es el
Harbor
tema
and spent
industrial y
my
demás.
entire childhood staring at the ships going in and out of the port. I came to Sumeru to study, but failed to make it into the academia due to my lack of talent.
Ah, eres compañera de cole, de promoción, de la secretaria. Esteraría, algo así se llamaba.
But I'm still discussing all kinds of problems with different scholars. And I'm continuing to study and perform research from the restaurant's basement. I'm sure I'll get to the academia after their next round of exams.
Nunca te rindas.
What an admirable spirit for learning. Amazing.
Sure, but you'll find hardworking people wherever you go.
So this restaurant has a basement as well? Huh. First I've heard of it.
That's right. It's not usually open to patrons. Most of the time, employees use it for breaks or to hold private events.
I see. Guess that makes sense. Well, good luck with your studies, Miss Chishan.
Thank you so much. As long as I can make it into the academia as an official student, I'll be happy.
Lo estarás hasta que pases la primera práctica. Allí sí no estarás tan feliz que digamos. Pero lo que te haga contento en el momento es lo más importante. Muy bien, tenemos toda la información que tenemos necesaria, así que hablemos con Nahida para ver qué es lo que tenemos que hacer a continuación.
So, was that everybody?
3 familiar faces should be enough for Secretaria.
3 caras conocidas. ¿A qué te refieres? Ya, 3 caras conocidas y somos 3 personas. Quieres que imitemos a una de esas personas, ¿verdad?
What's the point of all the information we've collected? Nahida, you still haven't told us how you're planning to make Secretaria face her problems.
Secretaria is already used to avoiding her problems, so we must find a way to break through her usual sensibilities. I remember you mentioned that the Eremites in Port Ormuz are all making a fuss about the upcoming resurrection of King Deshret.
Correcto.
Although it's all just a boatload of nonsense, the fate of her homeland may turn out to be Secretaria's soft spot.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. You want to take advantage of the guilt Secretaria feels about her homeland.
Eso es moralmente incorrecto en muchas maneras, pero estoy a favor. Estoy a favor.
Although she knows she should return home to help the people of the desert, all she's done is conspire with the sages.
Si el rey Deshret demandara algo de ella,
So, how do we set that up?
Well, King Deshret is long gone, and Secretaria is also too smart to fall for any simple tricks. If we simply engaged her under the guise of King Deshret's believers, she would definitely be wary of us, and we may not get anywhere. But if we were to borrow some of her close acquaintances to talk with her, her reaction would probably be very different.
So, you mean you're going to possess those people we just talked to?
Yep. Possess them through the Akasha. Imply they've already converted to the faith of King Deshret, and then convey our made-up will of King Deshret.
Nahida, una pregunta. Cuando... No. Estaba a punto de preguntar si es que se le quitó a Catherine en la caja que llevaba a conectar o suyo. Parece que no es así. Así que de seguro no ha sido una muy buena idea decirnos el plan en voz alta, teniendo la caja a tu costado.
As long as everything goes smoothly, we'll get through to Sataria for sure.
No sé por qué, pero
She'll
siento
never
de que
guess
ya
that
los
we
sabios
had
están
anything to
descubriendo
do with
nuestro
it.
plan.
Ah, so that's how you're going to use all the info we collected on these people. It's so that you won't slip up and break form. Possessing them will only work if you can manage to pass off as them.
Exacto.
Exactly. So, best of luck with impersonating them.
Huh? Best of luck? But we don't know how to possess anyone.
That's no problem at all. I'll just share all their senses with you once I've possessed them. As long as you're also wearing an Akasha terminal, the effect will basically be as if you've possessed them yourself.
Ok, entiendo tu plan. El problema de ese plan es que es muy Akasha dependiente. Y como el Akasha está bajo control de lo que es la academia, sería un poquito estúpido usar el Akasha porque lo que estamos haciendo afectaría a la academia. Y ellos sabrían qué es lo que estamos haciendo y todo sería al carajo.
Huh. That is pretty convenient. But why does he have to do this? Can't you do it yourself?
Although I've been observing humans for a while, I've never been good at imitating them.
You're not wrong. It's always been painfully obvious whenever you try to pass as Catherine.
Lo intentaré.
If it was at all possible, I would have preferred to leave these people alone. But seeing how things are now, I probably should just accept it and push on.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. We're only doing this to help everyone, and we'll only be borrowing them for a little while anyway.
Sí, tampoco es que vamos a usar sus cuentas bancarias para comprar protogemas o algo parecido.
Alright, then let's give it a go tomorrow afternoon.
Mañana por la tarde. Ya, tengo que esperar hasta la tarde del día siguiente. Vale, estamos justamente acá, donde la adivina. Y seguro ya habremos poseído su cuerpo. Y su alma y su mente. No,
Here she
aún.
comes. Sataria's here.
Let's quietly follow her. Once she starts talking to her acquaintances, we'll find a safe spot to begin possessing them. As for how we'll sway her to our side, I'll leave that to you. I trust you'll know what to say.
Ok.
Paimon's starting to feel kind of nervous. Looks like they've already started talking. Let's find a hiding spot and get started.
Ya. Supongo que eso lo harán por mí. Excelente. Ahora...
That's right. You really can't force anything when it comes to love. And besides, everyone around me has a very different background and outlook.
Excelente.
Are you still listening to me, Nabia?
Oh, of course I'm listening. You were talking about troubles with your love life, right? I heard everything you said.
Okay then. You just seemed a little distracted for a moment there.
Tenemos que interpretar lo que dicen los gatos.
Strange. Your cats seem pretty worked up. Is something wrong?
Ahí podemos aprovechar para plantar información.
I always thought they were quiet, happy kitties. Oh, what are their names again?
Ah, puta. Menos mal que grabo esta vaina. Hadut y Marut, así se llamaban.
Ah, that's right. They are just little darlings, aren't they? Harut and Marut.
Sí, los gatos son chidos. Shout out a Mitsuharu. El gato que cuida a mi madre en su puesto.
Which fortune do you want me to read for you today? You must have come for
Aunque
another
también es un flojo de
echo of the
miércoles, ¿por qué?
divine voice of wisdom.
Sucede que encontraron ratas en lo que es la casa del lugar donde alquila mi madre su puesto. Así que agarraron al fucking gato para que espante las ratas, pero el gato se iba de la casa. O sea, no quería trabajar. Y al día siguiente, el gato estaba bien contento en la puerta de la casa de la señora. ¿Quién entiende a los gatos, verdad?
I'd like to get another reading on my love prospects, but to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like I've been a real mess recently.
A mess?
Well, Could you do a reading on how long it'll take me to finish my current project at work? I really just want to get it over with.
I hear you. No problem at all. The gods will reveal the truth.
Nahida, ayuda. Ayuda, Nahida. Tengo que responder algo. ¿Cómo dice? ¿Cuál de los dos es la expresión? ¿Cuál es la expresión? ¿Saben? Es mucho más fácil cuando estás grabando. No tienes por qué estar cambiando a lo que es el otro, o sea, leer una guía aparte. Simplemente ves tu propio footage y te sientes más contento contigo mismo. Los dioses han hablado.
The gods are asking. Secretaria, why haven't you gone home?
Why haven't I gone home? Do the gods really know everything I've been thinking about?
Secretaria, why don't you just go home? It's a demand now instead of a question. The gods seem to be truly upset.
I'm sorry. I know I failed the gods. Please pass on my most sincere apologies and ask for their divine forgiveness. And if I may ask, Nabia, is there a specific god who's speaking to you right now?
No podemos ser tan específicos. ¿Que sí?
What an inconsiderate and naive question. The god who is speaking to me is, of course, the wisest and mightiest of all, King Deshret.
Era para que digas que no, cualquiera puede ser, pero no el rey Deshret. Queremos hacerla cambiar de bando, no queremos traumarla de por vida.
King Deshret? No wonder he would make such demand of me. Wait a second. King Deshret passed away a long time ago.
Por eso dije, no es una buena idea.
Even though news of King Deshret's resurrection has been spreading like wildfire, it's all just a misinformation campaign from the academia. How can King Deshret still exist in real life?
Fuck, la hemos cagado.
What insolence! I am King Deshret's most loyal believer. Do you wish to refute his voice of wisdom?
Oh, no. As a child of the desert, I am only reveling in his power upon learning that his divine glory has touched even this city. I will think very carefully about his demand of me. I'm sorry, I must go now.
Wait!
¿Y la paga? Creo que la fundimos demasiado que no va a querer pagarnos.
Whoa, she just ran off in a hurry. She looked pretty upset too.
Y ni siquiera quiso pagar.
Well done. Secretaria didn't seem to suspect anything amiss. To have something she's been trying desperately to avoid show up out of nowhere and berate her, that must have shaken her to the core.
Sí, ahorita la adivina está recontra confundida de qué chucha acaba de suceder. Pero bueno, acabamos de descubrir que la wea del rey Deshret al parecer es un complot, es una mentira. Es algo solamente para causar un golpe de estado por el hecho de causar un golpe de estado.
Aw, Nahida, it seems like you understand human emotions really well after all.
All I know are some abstract Harvard-taught theories. And in any case,
Semiótica, creo que eso
my
estudia
plan
las
has shown
emociones.
a lot of them to be utterly useless.
Creo porque tuve que hacer una exposición al respecto en la primaria. Sí, en la primaria tenía que hacer exposiciones sobre filosofía. ¿Qué os parece?
Anyway, enough of that. Let's hurry and catch up to Secretaria.
He's at Akim's now, right on cue. Let's get ready to possess him right away.
Ya, con Akim. Casi me voy enfrente. Más de donde debía ir. Muy bien, Akim Aguilar. Prepárate para ser poseído.
It's okay. I just got caught up in something. Oh, actually, didn't you ask me to help you look for work? What kind of work were you looking for again?
Chuta. Esto podría joderle bastante su existencia. Tendría sentido que decir que quiero ser albañil, porque su padre era albañil. Pero su manera de hablar era como jardinero. Pero en ningún momento de su conversación dijo que quería ser jardinero, ¿verdad? Estoy seguro de eso. Ya, lo de albañil. Me la juego ahorita, me la juego.
Oh, right. Your old man's craft. How could I forget?
Es la respuesta que más tiene sentido.
Speaking of, how's he doing? Is he feeling any better?
A ver, él está de vacaciones, bueno, de retiro, con el tema del puerto de Ormos. Está mucho mejor, incluso camina con menos dificultad ahora. Ya, su problema es con... Él se cayó del tejado. Cuando te caes del tejado, te lastimas las piernas. Sí, lo que tenía es una pierna rota. Camina con menos dificultad. Esa es la respuesta correcta.
Oh, that's good to hear. I've been thinking a lot about him. If I could get some more time off, I'd love to pay him a visit. Actually, while we're talking about him, is he still living in Port Ormos?
Correcto.
Yeah, he's been retired there for a while.
If you could find the time, please write him a letter. Let him know that recently, faith in King Deshret has taken root in Port Ormos and has begun to spread across Sumeru. He has a quick temper and has always been a devout follower of the Dendro Archon. I don't want him to get into a fight with those King Deshret believers because of a difference in beliefs.
Bueno, ya de por sí se estaba peleando con ellos porque Puerto Olmos, vamos, ahí está el nacimiento de ese complot por esa religión.
Oh? So, who are you siding with in all of this? The Academia or King Deshret? I'm so jealous of you. You were born a child of the desert, yet you chose to betray King Deshret, and now you spend all your time with those crooks from the Academia.
A ver, ¿no crees que estás siendo un poquito demasiado mezquino?
Akeem, you don't mean... You've also become a believer of King Deshret?
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one...
Can't pick a side? Me?
Whoa. Paimon had no idea you'd be so good at this.
No me pasé de la raya, ¿verdad? No, mano, te pasaste de país, de continente, hasta has descubierto un planeta nuevo.
You really zeroed in on the issue and put it right in front of her. It might feel a bit overwhelming for Secretaria. But once everything is over, I'll be sure to pay her a visit to her mind and explain everything. Anyway, let's keep going.
Solo que era una persona. La futura postulante de la academia. Eso va a ser recontra sencillo porque habrá que pensar como persona de San Marcos. Y le corté el diálogo a Paimon. Cosa que no me arrepiento de nada.
Shishan, have you noticed anything weird in the city lately? Like, as if someone was trying to preach to you about something?
No, paso todo tiempo libre estudiando en el sótano. Estoy seguro que es eso. El sótano, ¿verdad? Es el sótano. Estoy seguro que es el sótano.
Oh, right. Speaking of strange things, I celebrated the Sub-Zerus festival so many times that I lost count. That was really weird.
Wait, how could you be aware of that? That should be impossible. Nothing in the report indicated anything like that.
Are you still failing to realize that the Academia's lowly tricks could never deceive all of Sumeru's citizens?
Shishan, don't tell me that you've converted to King Deshret as well.
Pobre Secretaria, este no es su día. Y todo es gracias a nosotros.
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King Deshret.
A este punto la diosa Nahida le ha fallado con el tema de los estudios, le ha fallado, ya está repitiendo, ya es la quinta vez que está dando el examen de admisión, así que ya para la sexta obviamente tienes que cambiarte de religión, ¿no creen?
In reality,
eso volverte ateo, una de dos.
You, who work side by side with the Academia,
Menos mal que yo ingresé la
treated
primera.
people as nothing more than experimental subjects.
No tuve necesidad de cambiar mi fe.
Please, please stop.
Y se marchó, y su barco se llamó Libertad. Y de seguro se va a suicidar, en el peor de los casos. Te has pasado de la raya desde hace un par de conversaciones atrás.
She can no longer justify everything to herself.
Hey, she's trying to talk to the guards. What should we do?
This is the most important part of all. Quick, get ready.
Ah, tenemos que pelear, ¿verdad?
Mercenary, you're a member of the Corps of 30, correct? Please help me pass a message to the Matra right away. The situation in the city is getting out of control.
Please, try to remain calm, miss.
Vamos a poseerla, ¿verdad?
Heretics are infiltrating the city, and they've already converted many residents to their side.
Heretics? What kind of heresy are you talking about?
King Deshret! Many people I know have suddenly started believing in him, but he's long dead. It's impossible.
Miss Setaria, nothing is impossible.
You know my name?
King Deshret is immortal, and all who defy him will one day pay the price.
A este punto ya Secretaria va a estar tratando de tirarse el agua.
You must face the truth, Setaria. You tread a treacherous path.
Estaba pensando
and
que
the
está
longer you
soñando o algo
ignore it,
parecido.
the tighter the Academia's grasp on you will become, and the deeper you will be ensnared. Child of King Deshret, never forget that the desert that belongs to you lies elsewhere.
What's so strange about becoming a believer of the wise King Deshret? In fact, aren't you the strange one? The one who still can't pick a side?
What an absurd question. You make it sound like I should be ashamed for becoming a believer of King Deshret.
Setaria, why haven't you gone home?
Esto de la tortura mental es bastante divertido. Por algo es que los videojuegos lo ponen acá, que esto sería ilegal en el mundo real.
It seems that no matter where I run, I only keep finding more believers of King Deshret. I have to say, this is a familiar feeling.
¿No sería mejor reportarlo hacia el hueón de la academia o es que no te haría caso por razones?
I've also been running from my guilt this whole time. Guilt over my part in the sage's plans, and from ignoring the letters from the children of my homeland. But no matter how much I may try to ignore or get rid of it, my guilt always comes back.
No es demasiado tarde para dar la vuelta.
You won't necessarily lose your research opportunities by facing the truth. Besides, did you really want to conduct your research while carrying such heavy feelings of guilt?
Mejor dicho, ¿en serio quieres investigar un solo lado de la historia? ¿Por qué los dos no?
How do
Y
you know me
encontrarse que hay
so
un
well?
tercero.
Are you truly just a believer of King Deshret? Or are you the god himself?
That's not important. The important thing is to pass judgment on the Academia and its sages, and to correct their mistakes. If you could provide some assistance in this matter, perhaps it could serve as a form of atonement.
I've actually never believed in the gods, but I've always believed in serendipity. Her
Serendipia.
appearance must be a fated opportunity for me to get out of this wretched situation.
Circunstancia de encontrar por casualidad algo que no se buscaba. Cada día aprendo más palabras nuevas para mi vocabulario.
Please tell me.
Que estoy
What can I
seguro
do for you?
que no podré usar nunca más en la vida. ¡Genial! ¡Por fin la convencimos! ¡Woohoo!
How much do you know about the sage's current activities?
I was just one of the designers for the masked dream harvest scheme, which is what happened around the Sub-Zero's festival. But I know very little about the full scope of the overall project. I'd assume that only staff with the highest clearance would have access to those confidential documents.
Por lo menos confirma nuestras sospechas de que hay una máquina recolectora de sueños plantada por acá, en Sumeru.
I've just been working to meet the Grand Sage's specified requirements. However, there's something that's been really bothering me. I heard that a scholar who was previously expelled has returned to the city, and even the sages are still quite wary of him.
Un proscrito al que incluso los sabios temen.
To fight against the Academia, we will need to figure out the nature and the purpose of their work. Is there a way for us to get access to the confidential documents you mentioned?
It should be possible if we're willing to take some risks. After all, I'm an assistant to the Grand Sage, and I've been working on many tasks outside of the project. One thing, though, I won't be able to transfer the documents to you through the Akasha once I get my hands on them. The sages have always closely monitored all activities within the Akasha.
Entrégalo vía correo entonces. No creo que la casa tenga conexión al correo. Wait. No me refiero al correo virtual. Me refiero al correo en papel, ese tradicional que solía... Las cartas que tú sueles enviar a tu ex. Esas huellas. Sí, esa clase de correo me estoy refiriendo.
Let me see... let's use the most primitive method.
Exacto.
Send someone to pick up the documents tomorrow evening at the Academia entrance.
The Academia entrance. Wouldn't that be too conspicuous?
Don't worry about that. I assure you, this won't be a trap.
Va a ser una trampa.
I'm only suggesting this location because it'll draw more scrutiny for me to leave the academia again. It'll be safest for me to distract the guards long enough to hand you the documents.
All right, I trust you.
So,
Yo no.
If I were to successfully complete this task, would it mean I've atoned for my wrongdoings?
That'll depend on the judgment of the Dendro Archon.
The Dendro Archon. That's right. Her people are the ones we have endangered. As the god of wisdom, she's also the one responsible for judging and guiding the scholars.
Creo que eso es muy débil de decir porque al fin y al cabo ella está haciendo todo eso por el rey Destret, no lo está haciendo por la diosa de la sabiduría. Así que decirle que otra diosa que es enemiga mortal de ese otro dios no sería tan lógico que la perdone después de que la traicione, a menos que sí, claro. Estoy tratando de ponerlo en un contexto que tenga sentido, pero esta parte de allí como que perdió un poquito el sentido.
Maybe it's time for me to find a god to believe in.
Just as Nahida predicted, we've managed to bring Secretaria to our side.
The Traveler's execution was ingenious. He's the one who deserves all the praise. Well, now that we've made plans to meet again tomorrow evening, all we can do is pray for Secretaria's mission to go off without a hitch.
Pray? But if we're going to pray to the gods, aren't we just praying to you? God of wisdom and guardian of the scholars?
No. The truth is the true guardian of scholars. I've always believed that. Anyway, let's meet again tomorrow evening at the Adventurers Guild.
Chiro, mañana reunimos aventureros, lo tengo claro. Espera hasta la noche del día siguiente. Voy a dejar el video hasta acá porque justamente nos piden esperar hasta la noche del día siguiente. Así que nada más que decir, si os ha gustado el video pueden darle like. Compartirlo con amigos fanáticos de Genshin Impact. Voy a activar este punto de transporte para que así sea más fácil ir por acá y activar la cinemática una vez de que ya pase el tiempo determinado. Y bueno, hasta que pobre secretaria ahora está traumada de por vida. Yo por un momento pensé de que la habíamos cagado porque me pareció que usamos palabras de contrafuertes y que se iba a tirar justamente ahí hacia el otro lado. Así que, wow, y voy a rodar hasta caer aquí al agua, golpearse el cerebro con este pedazo de madera y luego caer al agua finalmente hacia un lugar mejor de seguro. Pero menos mal que no sucedió eso, porque vamos, si eso me pasara a mí, lo más probable es que hubiera reaccionado de esa manera. Así que, nada más que decir, el plan está saliendo a la perfección y espero que absolutamente nada malo suceda ahí. Solamente que me preocupa un poco el tema de el ex erudito de la academia que ha regresado para seguir cometiendo crímenes por lo que parece. Así que nada más que decir, no voy a decir nada. Hasta aquí Vampire, nos vemos en el siguiente video.